Look at them. The people in your phone. The people you share drinks with on a Friday night. The people you call your friends. Your allies. Your circle. You believe in them. You trust them. You have invested your time, your energy, and your loyalty into these bonds. You have moved mountains for them. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Niccolo Machiavelli, the master analyst of human nature, would look at your circle and he would call them what they really are: temporary alliances of convenience. You believe loyalty is a sacred bond. They see it as a shifting bargain. You believe friendship is a harbor. They see it as a port of call, a convenient place to refuel and resupply before they continue on their own journey. And you are the port. Have you ever felt it? That sharp, cold sting of disappointment when a friend vanishes the moment you need them most. The very friend you stayed up all night helping. The very friend you lent money to. The very friend whose success you celebrated more than your own. When your moment of crisis comes, their phone goes to voicemail. They are suddenly, inexplicably, too busy. You are the one they call for advice, for a shoulder to cry on, for an emergency loan. You are the reliable one, the strong one. But when your world is shaking, you look around, and you are utterly alone. You are the loyal, supportive character in everyone else's story. But who is supporting yours? Today, the comforting illusion of your circle shatters. This video is a cold, necessary dose of reality that will save you from the inevitable, soul-crushing betrayal that is coming your way. We will not just talk about friendship. We will dissect it. We will teach you how to identify the users, the competitors, and the true, rare allies in your life. And you will transform from the trusting fool, who is constantly burned by misplaced loyalty, into the wise sovereign, who builds a court, an inner circle, that he can actually depend on. This is not about becoming a cynical hermit. This is about becoming an intelligent king. A king who knows who to trust, who to test, and who to banish from his kingdom. Now, before we expose the traitors in your court, you must make a vow to your own sovereignty. Drop this in the comments below. I choose my allies wisely. Let's begin by diagnosing the sickness that pervades most modern friendships. A sickness you have been taught to call loyalty. We will call it the myth of unconditional loyalty, your most dangerous delusion. You were raised on stories of unbreakable bonds, of friends who would die for each other. This is a beautiful fantasy, and in the real world, it is almost entirely fiction. The vast majority of your relationships are not based on unconditional love. They are based on a fragile, unspoken contract of mutual utility. I am useful to you, and you are useful to me. The moment that utility equation shifts, the loyalty evaporates. The dark psychology of the alliance. Humans are fundamentally self-interested creatures. This is not a moral failing. It is a biological and psychological reality. Our primary drive is our own survival, our own advancement, our own needs. A friendship is often just a temporary truce between two self-interested parties who have found a mutually beneficial arrangement. You provide them with emotional support. They provide you with social validation. You provide them with your expertise. They provide you with access to their network. This is the transaction. The trusting fool believes this transaction is a bond, a deep, spiritual connection. He does not see the underlying contract. He believes the feeling is the foundation. The wise sovereign understands that the feeling is a byproduct of the contract. The loyalty is a symptom of the mutual utility. And he knows that when the utility disappears, the loyalty will follow. The loyal friend's mistake. The loyal friend is the one who keeps giving long after the reciprocity has stopped. He is the one who continues to uphold his end of the contract after the other party has clearly breached it. He tells himself he is being a good friend. He tells himself that loyalty means staying, even when it hurts. He is not being loyal. He is being exploited. He is a nation that continues to send tribute to an empire that no longer offers it any protection. Machiavelli saw this with piercing clarity in the world of politics. He wrote, "For love is held by a chain of obligation which, since men are wretched creatures, is broken on every occasion in which their own self-interest is concerned. But fear is held by a dread of punishment which never fails." Let's translate this. The love in your friendships, that warm feeling of connection, is a chain of obligation that will be broken the moment it becomes inconvenient for the other person. The moment their self-interest points in another direction. The moment a better opportunity, a more useful alliance, comes along. This is not pessimism. This is realism. And your refusal to accept this reality is the primary reason you keep getting hurt. You are playing a game of chess, believing it is a game of holding hands. And you are wondering why you keep getting put in checkmate. Today, you learn the rules of the board. Here are the 7 ruthless truths for building a powerful inner circle and protecting yourself from the inevitable betrayal. Truth number 1. The 3 circles of your kingdom. You must stop seeing your relationships as one homogeneous group called friends. This is a dangerously simplistic model. From now on, you will see your social world as a kingdom, with 3 distinct circles of access and trust. The outer court, the circle of utility. This is your largest circle. It contains colleagues, acquaintances, social media friends, and most of the people you interact with. The rule of this circle is pure, unapologetic transaction. These are not your friends. They are temporary, strategic alliances. You are polite. You are professional. You exchange value. You provide your expertise when it is beneficial to you. You connect with them when it serves a purpose. But you do not grant them your trust. You do not share your vulnerabilities. You do not tell them your secrets or your grand plans. You do not expect loyalty from them, and you do not offer it unconditionally. Your relationship with them is based entirely on the answer to one question: is this interaction currently useful to both of us? The moment the answer is no, the interaction gracefully concludes. The inner court, the circle of vetted allies. This is a much smaller circle. These are people who have graduated from the outer court. They have been tested. They have proven their reliability over time. They have demonstrated, through action, that their loyalty is not merely convenient. They have been there for you when it was not easy. They have kept a small secret. They have celebrated your success without a flicker of envy. With this circle, you can share more. Your plans, your challenges. But the vetting process never truly ends. You are still observing. You are still gathering data. Trust is granted here, but it is not absolute. It is a provisional trust, subject to review. The royal chamber, the sanctum of true kinship. This circle is minuscule. For most people, it will contain 2 or 3 people in their entire lifetime. Maybe fewer. Sometimes, it may contain no one but yourself. These are the people for whom the word loyalty actually has meaning beyond utility. These are the people who have seen you at your worst and have not flinched. Who have had the opportunity to betray you and have chosen honor instead. Whose self-interest is so intertwined with your own that your victory is their victory. In this circle, and only in this circle, can you afford to be truly vulnerable. This is your war council. Your family, not of blood, but of spirit. The friendly person's mistake. The friendly, trusting fool treats everyone as if they are in the royal chamber. He shares his deepest secrets with people in the outer court. He expects unconditional loyalty from his vetted allies. His kingdom has no walls, no gates, no guards, and he is shocked when it is plundered. The Machiavellian countermove, the ruthless gatekeeper. The wise sovereign understands that his most precious resources are his trust, his vulnerability, and his inner thoughts. He is the ruthless gatekeeper of his own kingdom. He does not grant access based on nice words or good feelings. He grants access based on demonstrated, consistent, and proven behavior. You must now perform a silent, internal audit of your entire social circle. Take every person you call a friend and place them in one of these 3 circles. Be brutal. Be honest. Your feelings about them are irrelevant. Their actions are the only data that matters. Who belongs in the outer court of utility? Who has earned a place in the inner court of allies? And who, if anyone, has proven themselves worthy of the royal chamber? This act of categorization is your first act of sovereignty. You are no longer living in a chaotic village of friends. You are ruling an organized kingdom. Truth number 2, the friendship audit. To place people in their proper circles, you must become a cold, detached analyst of human behavior. You must ignore their words and study their patterns. Words are cheap. Patterns are priceless. Here are the 5 critical metrics you must use to audit every person in your life. Metric 1, the reciprocity ledger. Imagine an invisible ledger between you and every person you know. On one side, you list all the value you provide, your time, your help, your emotional support. On the other side, you list what you receive. For most nice guys, this ledger is catastrophically unbalanced. They are in a deep, permanent deficit with almost everyone. You do not need to be a cold accountant, but you must be aware of the general balance. Is this a relationship of mutual exchange, or is it a relationship of charity, where you are the sole benefactor? A consistent, major imbalance is a red flag. It is the sign of a user, not an ally. Metric 2, the success reaction test. This is the most accurate test for hidden envy and competition. When you share a piece of good news, a promotion, a new relationship, a personal victory, watch their reaction in the first 3 seconds, before they have time to put on their supportive friend mask. A true ally's face will light up with genuine, unforced joy. Their success feels like your success. A user or a competitor will have a micro-expression of something else. A flicker of disappointment. A forced, tight smile. They may say the right words, "Congratulations, I'm so happy for you." But their energy will betray them. They will quickly change the subject back to themselves. "That's great. Speaking of which, Or they will subtly diminish your achievement. "Oh, that's nice. Is the pay much better?" Envy is a poison that makes true loyalty impossible. The person who cannot celebrate your victories is not your ally. They are a rival waiting for the right moment to act. Metric 3, the crisis response test. As the saying goes, in the darkest hour, you see the brightest stars. When you are in a genuine crisis, not a minor inconvenience, but a real moment of need, who shows up? And more importantly, how do they show up? The people of the outer court will send a thoughts and prayers text message, a low-effort gesture. The user may even see your crisis as an opportunity to ask for something, disguised as help. The true ally will show up. They may not be able to solve your problem, but they will offer their presence, their resources, their time. Their action will be proactive, not reactive. They won't wait for you to beg for help. They will offer it. Crisis is a filter. It ruthlessly separates the convenient from the committed. Pay close attention to who passes through it. Metric 4, the boundary test. When you set a new, firm boundary with someone, how do they react? Let's say you tell a friend who always calls you to vent, "I can't be your therapist for this issue anymore. I'm happy to support you as a friend, but I can't take on the emotional labor of solving it for you." A true ally, though perhaps surprised at first, will respect it. They will say, "I understand. Thank you for being honest." They value the relationship more than the utility they were getting from you. A user will react with anger, guilt, or manipulation. "I can't believe you're abandoning me. After all I've done for you. You've changed." Their negative reaction is a gift. It is a clear, unambiguous sign that they were only in the relationship for what they could extract from you. They did not value you, they valued your function. Metric 5, the gossip intelligence test. Listen to how people talk about others when they are not present. This is not about engaging in gossip. It is about gathering intelligence. The person who freely shares the secrets of others with you will just as freely share your secrets with others. The person who is constantly critical and negative about their other friends is almost certainly speaking about you in the same way behind your back. Their lack of loyalty to others is a preview of their future lack of loyalty to you. A true ally speaks with honor, even about those not present. They are a vault. As Machiavelli would say, you must judge a man not by how he treats you, his superior, but by how he treats his equals and inferiors. How your friends treat others is a direct forecast of how they will one day treat you. Conduct this audit silently. You do not need to announce your findings. You just need to adjust your circles accordingly. Demote the users. Observe the competitors. And invest your most precious resources only in the proven allies. Truth number 3. The danger of the favor. The trusting fool believes that doing favors builds loyalty. The wise sovereign knows that favors, used incorrectly, build entitlement and resentment. The predictable response. A friend asks for a significant favor, help with a project, a loan, a major time commitment. The fool, eager to be seen as a good friend, says yes immediately, without considering the true cost or the unspoken terms. The dark psychology of the unbalanced favor. A favor creates an imbalance of power. In the moment you grant it, you may feel powerful, like the benevolent benefactor, but you have just created a debt. And debts in the social world are treacherous things. The entitlement effect, as we've discussed, a favor done once is appreciated. A favor done repeatedly becomes an expectation. Your generosity has now become your job. The resentment of the debtor. This is a darker, more complex psychological truth. People often come to resent those to whom they are indebted. Your very presence becomes a reminder of their moment of weakness, of their need. To erase this uncomfortable feeling, their subconscious mind may begin to find faults with you. To devalue you. He's not so great. I would have figured it out on my own anyway. This allows them to mentally diminish the size of their debt to you. It is a perverse but common human reaction. The generous friend's mistake. He gives without terms. He helps without boundaries. He believes his no-strings-attached generosity is a pure and noble act. He does not realize he is creating a dynamic that is almost certain to end in his own disappointment. The Machiavellian counter-move, the strategic, contractual favor. The sovereign never does a significant favor without clear, albeit often unspoken, terms. He treats every favor as a strategic investment. The rules of the sovereign's favor. Never grant a favor that weakens you significantly. A wise king does not bankrupt his own treasury to pay the debts of a neighboring kingdom. You must help from your abundance, not from your core. If a favor puts your own projects, your own finances, or your own sanity at risk, the answer is a swift and unapologetic no. The favor must be an event. Do not be the person who is always doing small, constant favors. This makes your help invisible. It is better to do one significant, memorable favor than 100 small, forgettable ones. Let your help be a rare and impactful event. The price is reciprocity. While you may not state it explicitly, the price of your significant favor is future loyalty and reciprocity. You must make it clear that you are making a major investment in them. Use language like, "This is a big ask, and it's going to be difficult, but because I value our alliance, I will make it happen." You have just framed the favor not as a casual act of niceness, but as a strategic move to strengthen your alliance. This creates a sense of obligation. Know when to call in the debt. Machiavelli understood that power is not in having favors owed to you. It is in the threat of calling them in. A true ally will not need to be reminded. They will be looking for opportunities to repay their debt. A user will forget. The sovereign keeps a long memory. At a future strategic moment, when you need their support, their vote, their help, you can then gently, privately, remind them of the investment you made. I was there for you during your crisis. I need you to be here for me now. A favor is not a gift. It is a deposit in the bank of social capital. Do not make deposits into banks that you know will fail. And when you do make a deposit, remember that one day you may need to make a withdrawal. Truth number 4. The competitor in friend's clothing. Not everyone in your circle who smiles at you is your friend. Some are your competitors in disguise. They are close to you not because they admire you, but because they are studying you. They are learning your strengths, probing your weaknesses, and waiting for the right moment to use that information to surpass you. The predictable response of the trusting fool. The fool believes in the myth of the supportive group. He shares his ambitions, his secret projects, and his innovative ideas with his friends. He thinks he is in a collaborative environment. He is in a snake pit. The dark psychology of proximity. Ambition is competitive. When you are on a similar path as someone else, you are, whether you admit it or not, in a state of competition. This does not mean you have to be enemies, but it does mean you have to be strategic. The competitor in friend's clothing will use the language of friendship to gather intelligence for the race. They will ask you about your project under the guise of being interested. They will offer helpful advice that is subtly designed to slow you down or send you in the wrong direction. They will be the first to praise you in public and the first to analyze your weaknesses in private. The open person's mistake. The open person believes that sharing everything creates a stronger bond. We're all in this together. They do not understand that for the competitor, together means as long as I am slightly ahead of you. Your transparency is their strategic advantage. The Machiavellian counter-move, the way of the silent strategist. The sovereign is a master of compartmentalization. He understands that you can be friendly with a competitor, but you must never treat them as a confidant. The rules of engaging a competitor. The fog of vagueness. When they ask about your plans, your strategy, your next big thing, you must become a master of the vague, positive, and ultimately empty answer. Them, so what are you working on for the next quarter? You, just focusing on maximizing value and exploring some exciting new growth vectors. How about you? You have said absolutely nothing of substance, and you have turned the spotlight back on them. Feed them a false trail. This is an advanced move. You can choose to share a plausible, but not your real, plan. You let them waste their energy preparing to counter a move you never intended to make. While they are busy competing with your shadow, you are silently executing your true strategy. Study them relentlessly. The competitor will reveal their entire playbook to you if you just listen. They will boast about their minor victories, revealing their tactics. They will complain about their obstacles, revealing their weaknesses. You must become the quiet student of your own rival. Collaborate only on a third front. You can build a genuine bond with a competitor, but never on the primary battlefield. Find a shared interest, a hobby, a different project where you can genuinely collaborate. This builds a human connection while keeping your core territories strategically separate. As Machiavelli would say, a wise prince must always assume that neighboring states, even friendly ones, are potential rivals. He shares borders with them, but he does not share his battle plans. Your friends who are on the same career path are your neighboring states. Be a good neighbor, but keep your guards on the wall. Truth number 5, the allyship test. So far, we have focused on the dangers, the users, the competitors. But true allies do exist. They are rare. They are gold. And your primary mission is to identify them, cultivate them, and bind them to you with chains not of obligation, but of deep, mutual respect. But you cannot find them if you are a nice guy. Why? Because strong, high-value people are not attracted to weakness. They are repelled by it. They do not want a friend they have to carry. They want an ally who can fight alongside them. The predictable pattern of the fool. The fool, in his desperation for connection, tries to win allies by being useful, by doing favors, by being the supportive one. He attracts only the weak who need a crutch, or the predatory who see an easy mark. The dark psychology of attraction. Power respects power. Strength is drawn to strength. The only way to attract a true ally is to first become a sovereign power yourself. You must become the kind of person that they would want on their side. The networker's mistake. The networker tries to build alliances through flattery, favors, and constant contact. He is always checking in, always offering praise. This comes across as needy and low status. He is seeking their favor, not offering his own. The Machiavellian counter-move, the beacon of strength. The sovereign does not network. He builds his own kingdom so well, makes his own fortress so strong, and creates such a reputation for competence and integrity that other powerful people are naturally drawn to him. He becomes a beacon, the litmus test for a true ally. As you become this beacon, you will attract many kinds of people. You must use your newfound clarity to test them. A true ally will display these 3 non-negotiable traits. They celebrate your victories without reservation. There is no hesitation. There is no forced smile. Your win feels like their win. They are your greatest cheerleader, because your rising tide lifts their own boat. They deliver hard truths with respect. A true ally is not a yes man. They are the only ones you can trust to tell you when you are wrong, when you are making a mistake, when your ego is getting the best of you. They will deliver this truth not as an attack to diminish you, but as a corrective measure to protect you. Their criticism is a gift. Their loyalty is proven in your absence. They will defend your name when you are not in the room. They will pass on opportunities to you that you did not even know existed. Their loyalty is not a performance for your benefit. It is a feature of their character. When you find such a person, and they are rarer than diamonds, you must bind them to you. And how does a sovereign bind an ally? Not with favors, not with flattery, but with the one thing a powerful person truly values: unwavering, reciprocal loyalty. You become their greatest champion. You celebrate their victories. You offer them your strategic counsel. You guard their reputation as if it were your own. You prove, through your actions, that your alliance is one of sovereigns. An unbreakable bond of 2 pillars, standing side by side, holding up the sky together. As Machiavelli knew, the most valuable asset a prince can have is not a vast army, but a handful of completely loyal captains. Your life's work is not to be liked by the crowd in the outer court. It is to find, and to be worthy of, the captains for your royal chamber. Truth number 6. The strategic purge. As you grow in power and self-respect, you will face a difficult and necessary task. You must be willing to purge your circle. The predictable pattern of the nice guy. The nice guy holds onto relationships long past their expiration date. The friend from childhood who now only drains his energy. The colleague who constantly takes advantage of him. He keeps them around out of a misplaced sense of loyalty, or a fear of the conflict that would come from cutting them off. The dark psychology of inertia. It is easier to maintain a bad relationship than to end one. Ending a relationship requires a confrontation, an uncomfortable conversation, a decisive action. Maintaining it only requires your continued, passive suffering. Most people choose passive suffering. The sentimental person's mistake. The sentimental person is a curator of a museum of dead friendships. They value the history of a relationship more than its present reality. But we've known each other for 20 years, they say. They fail to realize that the person they knew 20 years ago no longer exists, and the person that remains is a drain on their life. The Machiavellian counter-move, the pruning of the garden. The wise sovereign sees his life as a garden. It has finite space, finite water, finite sunlight. Every plant that does not bear fruit, or that is actively a weed, is taking up resources that could be nourishing a healthy plant. Pruning is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of love for the health of the entire garden. The process of the purge. The silent downgrade. For the people in your outer court who have proven to be consistent users, you perform a silent purge. You do not need a dramatic confrontation. You simply stop investing. You stop replying to their texts. You stop accepting their calls. You become a ghost. They will eventually get the message and drift away. The boundary confrontation. For people in your inner court who have failed a critical test of loyalty, a more direct approach may be needed. This is not an emotional argument. It is a calm, final statement of fact. I have observed a pattern of behavior from you that I find unacceptable. I have valued our alliance, but it is clear it can no longer continue. I wish you the best. You state your decision. You do not debate it. You do not get drawn into their excuses or apologies. The decision is final. The creation of space. The most important part of the purge is not the removal, but the space it creates. You now have more time, more energy, more focus to invest in your true allies, and in finding new ones. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must sometimes be willing to execute his former allies if they become a threat to the state. In your kingdom, a person who is a constant drain on your energy, who works against your interests, who cannot be trusted, is a threat. Your execution is not violent. It is a calm, cold, and final removal of access. This will be the hardest test of your new resolve. The voices of guilt, of sentimentality, of niceness, will scream at you. You must be ruthless. For the health of your kingdom, you must be willing to prune the weeds. Truth number 7. The Sovereign's Court. This is the final truth. The endgame. After the audits, the tests, and the purges, what remains? What remains is your court. A small, powerful, and ruthlessly vetted inner circle. This is the antithesis of the nice guy's sprawling, shallow network of acquaintances. This is a council of sovereigns. The nature of the sovereign's court. It is small. Power is concentrated. A small group of true allies is infinitely more powerful than a large group of convenient friends. It is built on respect, not affection. You do not need to like everyone in your court in the conventional sense. Oh, you must, however, have a deep and abiding respect for their competence, their integrity, and their power. Affection is a bonus. Respect is the foundation. It is an alliance of givers. Everyone in your court is a pillar, not a drain. They are people who bring value, who contribute, who are on their own sovereign mission. The relationships are based on synergy, not dependency. It is a chamber of truth. This is the one place in your life where you do not need to be on guard. It is a circle of such high trust that you can be vulnerable, you can admit weakness, you can seek counsel, without fear that it will be weaponized against you. It is a shared fortress. The members of your court guard your reputation as fiercely as you guard theirs. An attack on one is an attack on all. This is the true meaning of friendship. It is not the easy, convenient, fair-weather connection that most people settle for. It is a rare, forged-in-fire alliance of powerful individuals who have chosen to bind their fates together. As Machiavelli would argue, a prince is only as strong as his most trusted advisors. If his court is full of flatterers, schemers, and the weak, his kingdom is doomed. But if his court is composed of the wise, the loyal, and the strong, his reign will be long and prosperous. Your life's work is not to be popular. It is not to have 1,000 friends on social media. It is to build a royal chamber. A court so strong, so loyal, and so powerful that you and its members can face any storm the world throws at you, together. And if, after all your tests, you find that the only person worthy of being in that chamber is you, then so be it. It is better to be a king alone on his throne than a fool surrounded by a court of traitors. Phase 4. The vision of transformation and identity choice. The illusion has been shattered. The word friend will never sound the same to you again. You now see the unspoken contracts, the hidden ledgers, the secret tests that govern the world of human connection. You see the users. You see the competitors. And you see the faint, rare glimmer of the true ally. You have a choice. A profound one. You can continue to live as the trusting fool. You can keep your kingdom's gates wide open, allowing anyone and everyone to wander in, take what they want, and leave when they please. You can continue to suffer the slow, predictable death of 1,000 betrayals, always wondering why your loyalty is never enough. Or, you can become the wise sovereign. You can pick up your scepter. You can ascend your throne. You can become the ruthless, discerning, and powerful gatekeeper of your own life. You can begin the hard, necessary work of auditing, testing, and purging, of building a court worthy of your rule. This path is not easy. It is a path of loneliness at times, a path of hard decisions. It requires you to see the wretchedness in human nature, even as you search for the nobility. It requires you to be a strategist, a judge, and sometimes an executioner. Most will not choose this path. The fantasy of unconditional friendship is too warm, too comforting. But you are still here. You have stared into the cold void of this truth, and you have not looked away. You are ready to rule. Phase 5. The concluding reinforcement and call to action. Your circle is either your greatest asset or your greatest liability. It is either your fortress or your prison. There is no in-between. Stop giving the holy title of friend to mere members of your outer court. Reserve that honor for the heroes who have proven themselves in battle. If this video has armed you with a new and ruthless clarity, then show it. Smash that like button. Share this with someone who is still pouring their loyalty into a leaking bucket. And subscribe for more forbidden knowledge on the construction of a powerful life. Now, leave your final, sovereign decree in the comments below. The first law of your new kingdom. My loyalty is a treasure, not a handout. Remember, in the world of power, you are judged not by the number of friends you have, but by the quality of the court you keep. Choose wisely and rule well.